Hello, wrestling fans, and I'm Shane Shadows, and once again, welcome to Shane Shadows Presents Classic Indies as part of the Independent Rewind Network. We've got a lot of great feedback so far from you, the fans, who have been enjoying the matches that we've been bringing to you, covering the Mid-Atlantic and the Tri-State area and beyond for the last 35 years. We're getting ready to pitch to a very exciting clip going back to the Hagerstown Speedway in Hagerstown, Maryland, summer 1991. I call this the Battle of the Bad Breed, as Johnny Stonewall Lawler takes on none other than Axel Rotten. And of course, many of you hardcore fans may know, so to speak, that Johnny Stonewall Lawler ended up being the brother of Axel Rotten, the somewhat infamous Ian Rotten. We're going to get ready to go out here to the clips right now. Strong turnout at the Speedway that night. Axel Rotten was a prodigy. Axel Rotten was in professional wrestling. At this time, he is 21 years old, fully formed. Here comes Stonewall, fully formed for enough for two people, showing his Confederate pride here at the Speedway in Hagerstown. We're coming from my house here, the Shadow Chateau in suburban Hagerstown, Maryland. In the background, you do hear the garbage truck rolling through my neighborhood, so any apologies if that creates any type of sound problems for you. Axel was the consummate performer, in my opinion. One of those guys who I really, truly feel could have been a far bigger star in wrestling. Oh, sorry, folks, we're going to have to block out that imagery later on. Largely just because his ass is so fat and we can't. Axel had a great following regionally. Again, Axel from the Baltimore area originally, later on lived in Bedford, Pennsylvania, but wrestled all over this area. This is before he got his big opportunity when he went to Dallas, Texas and worked for the Global Wrestling Federation, and then of course ultimately later on ECW. This form of Axel I found much more entertaining than the quote-unquote chair-swinging freak. Collar elbow tie up here with the big guys. Lawler grabbing a hold of an arm and wrenching it up good, and a reversal by Axel. Big elbow. Oh, going for the schoolboy. Too early in the match for all that, and Axel goes for higher ground here. He's already a little bit distracted. These two became quite a tag team later on, competed all over the North America and part of Japan, and of course made their presence known in ECW in its earliest days. You know these clips are old. You take a look at the hairdos in the crowd amongst the women and the guys. We got rat tails, we got cigarette smoke blowing around, we got all kinds of things going on that are no longer considered socially acceptable at the wrestling matches. Again, these clips are completely unedited on our behalf. The tapes that we found in the basement of Miss Pat Kerkhoff, Neil Superior's mother, were just whatever was shot. So we wanted to grab these clips here because they are so close up and so good and really capture the flavor of wrestling in this area during that era. Big tackle by Axel and a drop down by Stonewall. Big hip toss. That's a 300-pound hip toss. Your referee is handsome Howard Goldman, quick with the 2 count there, and now Lawler back to the arm. We'd like to remind everybody who's watching that the Independent Rewind is not above taking your money for sponsorships and advertisements, especially as time wears on, as this pandemic winds itself down. Live pro wrestling will be taking place again, and we're certainly hopeful that when you're considering advertising for your event, you consider the Independent Rewind and you tell them that Shane Shadows sent you. Goldman with a 2 count. We jump clips here. Lawler still working on the arm, really just kind of rowboating that arm a little bit. A huge crowd that night. I was part of this capacity crowd. I was sitting up in the far reaches up on the right-hand side of your screen, video recording this on my own copies, but these are much better. I like the up-close clips. Axel really paintbrushing around his rotund future partner. In the corner, and a big chop. Goldman trying to assert some authority here, but he's coming up a little bit short, as he usually did, especially in the bedroom. Oh, almost a reversal there. Oh, Axel bounces right off of the top rope, hitting his ribs and midsection area. And now Lawler's going to try to mount a big comeback, but not to be. Axel takes control once again. You can certainly tell who was the star of this tandem. Wrenching up that chokehold. Big loogie coming. Again, the action jumps around. Axel with a couple of fists to the side of the face of Stonewall Lawler. Lawler, not a particular favorite of the Kentucky State Athletic Commission, with his various hardcore events that he has operated out of there since the early 2000s. Axel certainly doesn't seem too awful concerned about applying himself on a good cover. Oh, this time he did. Lawler flopping around like a catfish out there in the Mississippi. Axel's really asserted himself well in this matchup. Off the ropes, look out! Oh! Oh! Oh, look at the look on Lawler's face. My goodness. Good God Almighty. Not a good evening thus far for Stonewaller. These clips once again coming to you directly from the collection of Neil the Power Superior, of which I was fortunate enough to obtain these tapes from his mother in the recent past. Made some recordings of them, wanted to try to bring the best of this collection to everybody, and that's how we got partnered up with the Independent Rewind. Axel just putting the boots to Lawler, as would be the case throughout their storied history. Shoot him off. Oh, he ducked it. He ducked a big clothesline, and Axel's down. Action continues. Lawler messing up Axel's hair, such as it were. Double underhook suplex. Shades of Dory Funk Jr. on that one. Good God. Lawler with the cover. Goldman with the count. Axel on the ropes. Oh. 3. Was that 3? No, that was not 3. He almost caught him with a sunset flip. Again, it's hard to follow some of the clips here, but the action is in fact fast and furious, at least as fast as it's going to be when there's 700 pounds in the ring, and a big bulldog from Axel. Roll him over, count him out. That's the night. Call Mama, look for her, ask her if she made some stew. The winner of this match, Axel Rotten.